This is a video about Facebook and time. In the first quarter of 2016 at Facebook's earnings call, Mark Zuckerberg revealed the small but interesting statistic about the amount of time people spend on his platforms. He said, "Today, people around the world spend on average more than 50 minutes a day using Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger." 50 minutes. This is your day's worth of Facebook use. But how much does 50 minutes add up to over an entire year? I want you to imagine this white square is equivalent to 50 minutes of time. Over a week, 7 days, that 50 minutes becomes 6 hours and 50 minutes. This is your week's worth of Facebook use. Over 365 days, that 50 minutes becomes 304 hours. This is your year's worth of Facebook use. But let's put that into some perspective. 304 hours is the equivalent of over 12 whole days, or the equivalent of over 1 month's worth of 8-hour working days. But we can do more. One of the questions we can ask is, what else could you spend that time, that 304 hours, doing? Take reading, for example. How much could you realistically read in 304 hours? Well, the average adult reading speed for English is about 300 words per minute, which means you could read the 884,421 words, which comprise the entire written works of William Shakespeare, in just 49 hours. Even after that, you'd still have a load of time left. Using the same calculation, you could read Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, Charles Dickens' Great Expectations, and Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. You could read the entire Harry Potter series, the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, A Brief History of Time by Stephen Hawking, How to Win Friends and Influence People, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But we're still not done. You could read On the Wealth of Nations by Adam Smith, and The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx, Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche, the whole New Testament and the Quran, The God Delusion by Richard Dawkins, and On the Origin of Species by Charles Darwin. And you'd still be able to squeeze in Lovecraft's At the Mountains of Madness, Huxley's Brave New World, and Orwell's 1984. Say you're not a big reader and film's more your thing. How much could you watch in 304 hours? Well, you could watch the first 140 of IMDb's top 250 rated films of all time. But say you're more into music, how much music could you really give a good listen to in 304 hours? How about the entire recorded works of Elvis Presley? Well, at 35 hours, that's a good start. But you still have time for the entire recorded works of not only Elvis, but of Bob Dylan, David Bowie, Queen, the Miles Davis Quintet, Led Zeppelin, Ella Fitzgerald, Aretha Franklin, and Nina Simone. You could then move on to every Rolling Stones studio album, every Prince studio album, every Michael Jackson, Bob Marley, Kanye West, Notorious B.I.G., and Tupac studio album, and every Eminem EP and LP, including that underground shit he did with Scam. Everything Jimi Hendrix did, the entire recorded works of Kraftwerk, and the complete Daft Punk discography. And to finish off, how about the 41 Mozart symphonies, the 32 Beethoven sonatas, and pretty much everything the Beatles recorded and released. That's a lot of stuff. And that's just in year 1. From this moment, over the next 10 years, that daily 50 minutes will increase to over 3,040 hours, 126 solid days. This is your decade's worth of Facebook use. 13 is the earliest age you can legally sign up to Facebook, and taking 80 to 85 years as an average human lifespan, if you were to spend every day 50 minutes on Facebook from the day you signed up until the day you died, you would in effect be spending 21,280 hours on Facebook, or 886 solid days, or 2.5 solid years. This is equivalent to over 5% of your entire waking life on Earth. This is 1 lifetime's worth of Facebook use. So that's what 304 hours a year adds up to. That's what 50 minutes a day adds up to. And that's just Facebook. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking that because of the fragmented nature of the way we use Facebook, it's 10 minutes over lunch or 30 seconds in a queue for an ATM, that the comparison between the books, movies, and music you could be engaging with is an unfair comparison. Typically, these more traditional media require sustained, not fragmented attention, and so you couldn't realistically do a tit-for-tat replacement with Facebook. But I think the comparison is still important because it signifies the amount of collective cognitive attention we choose to give to these platforms. And also because I think it's worth remembering that although Facebook is free, it still costs you. You don't pay in money or in any currency you can hold in your hands. You pay in time, specifically your limited resource of attention, fragmented throughout your day, year, and life. It's like when you work a job. You exchange your time in return for money or perks. You invest your attention and so become an asset for your boss. Likewise, you are not Mark Zuckerberg's customer. You are his asset. And I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad thing. People use Facebook in all sorts of different ways. Some use it as a tool, some use it as a crutch. Most of us are somewhere in between.